Woo, woo, woof, woof, woof. I mean, woot, woot, woot. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for that wonderful applause. Yes, it's me, Mal Burns. MAL one word, BURNS the other word. Two words that become squashed everywhere you go on the web. Yep, twitter.com/Mal Burns, all one word. It's a squash job. And a secondary feed as well, twitter.com/Metaworld News, just after the show. But again, it's two words squashed. What are we meant to do in this day and age? Firstly, we were living with a plague wandering around, and now we're getting squashed to boot. Dear me. So much for moving to the interwebs in
Indeed.
this time of crisis. We just get squashed. It's like bad fruit, isn't it?
Ha.
Well, never mind, never mind. Okay. But we are here for something completely different, other than fruit or bad fruit or any of that other stuff. We're here to report on the metaverse. The metaverse is, well, back in our day, the metaverse was very simple. It was simply the virtual worlds online. The idea being that in an ultimate metaverse, you better jump between them all quite happily. But of course, as time has gone by, we have no interoperability. We have big corporations run by god emperors trying to take over the whole planet, including the virtual world, still without interoperability, I hasten to add. And also, we have almost what you might call new definitions. VR now means hardware like headsets. And well, there's so many definitions of the metaverse around now. I really, it's not imagining who to believe. I know damn well who I believe. That's me and my experience. But I get really irate when, a comic convention goes online because of COVID and calls itself
The
the
metaverse.
the comic, the particular comic book metaverse exactly. And yeah, and other sort of it's almost as though anything online that is connected, or not just 3D, but I mean, some people actually think Zoom is part of a metaverse somehow. Just go figure, people. Anyway, sort of these. It's like a catchphrase, and I don't know what Neil Stephenson, for example, thinks about all this. I think he was always quite happy that the Snow Crash version of the metaverse, well, the one we came up with wasn't his, but it was inspired by him, and it was very similar. Let's face it. But well, anyway, I don't think it's a trademark. That's the problem. So
Ah,
poor Neil
right.
Stephenson. It's Neil Stephenson should have trademarked the metaverse, just as Tim Berners-Lee should have kept some control over the internet. Well, the World Wide Web, I should say. Then we wouldn't have any of this opportunist shit going on. Anyway, I'm in the rabbit hole before
We
I've
are
even
in a rabbit
started.
hole. Yeah, yeah.
Before I've even started, so I'm going to get going. Yeah, quite a few links this week. Not that many text links, although there's a few, but quite a few video things. So I'm going to mix it all up a bit. I am starting. Oh, right. I haven't started yet properly because, firstly, I haven't announced a date.
Right.
It's the 2nd of May when we're recording this. That means the headlines you're about to hear are for the week ending the 2nd of May. Except for the first one, which is the XR Wheat Peak, which is actually for the week preceding that. Got it? I thought so.
Got it.
Yes,
Yep.
you're just as confused as the rest of the world, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that will do. Okay, the person who clearly has it, because he does it every week, is sitting next to me here. That's James Atlow. Welcome, James.
Yeah, hello, Mel. I'm very happy to be here for another foray into the virtual and virtual worlds
Yes,
and such. I got a free T-shirt today again. This is from the
I
Tobacco
was
Doc
look
events.
I was looking at that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so this is promoting a performance or a band. I'm not sure quite which, but they had such a successful event recently that they're doing it again.
Very good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Glad to hear it.
Dock is, I believe, a club on the East End of London here.
Yeah,
Obviously
right.
not open at the moment, though. Rather bizarre news this week is
The
it is of
rave.
course a holiday weekend for
Yeah.
May the 1st. But yeah, in Liverpool there was a sort of government, controlled rave.
Right, right.
But people had to be tested 3 days before, and then before they came in, and um, people going in said it felt strange. It didn't feel like being back to normal at all.
I would
But a good time
think.
was had, I believe. And
Yeah.
then today, I think it is, there's actually a live concert venue that is doing a similar thing. Not quite so many people and some distancing and stuff, but they're basically testing to see. They're making sure they got all the data, so if anybody catches something there or comes away and gives it to somebody, they're tracking it all.
Right. Right.
But basically, it is a test to see, what the lockdown up, uplift plans will do. But just as everything is raging like hell over in India, I mean, the idea that we are going to have, they're talking about lifting some of the travel restrictions and also lifting some of the quarantine restrictions. I really think it's a bit early for that, even if it's under control in the UK. It doesn't mean it's under control around the rest of the planet. As anybody
Right.
watching the news should have figured out. But anyway, yeah, they're going on with all this stuff. So yeah, and there was a big, I think it's up in Manchester. There was a big football match scheduled today, which
Ah,
had
okay.
real people in it, but things seem to have actually gone wrong. They've ended up with a riot in the stadium instead of a football match.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm. Okay.
Apparently, it's the Manchester United or whatever club they are was one of the ones that tried to join this Super League and has found disfavour amongst the players, fans, everybody,
Oh
including the
my.
government.
Okay.
And so the people that were normally crowding in there to watch a match have actually just gone ballistic, and they're demonstrating against the club itself selling out or trying to sell out. They didn't succeed actually, but that's immaterial.
Well,
So
that
yeah, it's all
certainly
fun and
didn't go as
games.
planned. Right.
That didn't go as planned too, and that's it's things like that, like the anti-vaxxers protests and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
They're anti-face masks, so obviously they protest without face masks and things. And these are not things that it's like oh we'll lift the restrictions so they can all go maskless and use sandwiches, hours and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's so hard to resist commenting on news that isn't the virtual news at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I was
True.
going to say. Anyway, yes, exactly. So tobacco dog is probably something that will come back in real life before long, but it's currently running here in Sansar.
Yeah.
And you can just look at sansar.com or whatever and look up events, and you'll find a whole load of stuff there. And
Yeah.
there's a web link with a colourful mini posters of all
Yeah.
the
And get
events and
yourself a
stuff.
free T-shirt. Who could complain about
Yeah,
that?
and yes, exactly. Yeah, free t-shirts have always been a big thing
Big
in
thing.
from
Right.
second life onwards, actually. But
Absolutely.
yeah, I was thinking of remaking a couple of t-shirts that
Oh, sure.
well, the slogans, the ones I created myself. So I was
Mm-hmm.
very pleased with them. Naughty ones though, and I was thinking, well, what can I do even in Second Life or something else that be like a t-shirt, but like a different kind of collar, something that gave maybe like the Indian, as in the Indian continent, subcontinent. Those shirts. They're not collar shirts without collars. They're
Right.
actually
I'm
designed.
thinking like a Nehru jacket. Is that the
Yeah,
idea?
yeah. I think that. But I'm not sure quite sure, but it sounds like that. That would be a description.
I
Yeah,
had a Nehru jacket
and
when I was a child.
yeah. Well, just then I could put the you can always put a slogan on the back, but these were
Yeah.
ones that were meant to be on the front, and
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, I still wear them from time to time when I'm able
Uh-huh.
to dig them out because they're polyester, so they wash easily, and you
Yeah. Yeah.
just. But they've got that sticking vinyl sort of stuff where the words were printed on,
Mm-hmm.
and in a hot wash that begins to peel off over the years. So
Right. Right.
I keep them as pristine, fairly pristine for as long as possible. Otherwise, I'll just
Right.
have a black T-shirt with a scrambled white mess on it.
Yeah. Those are best to frame and put on the wall, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Or as like I say, create virtually. So
Yeah. Oh. Oh. Yeah.
yeah,
Much better.
yeah, because they don't decay. Anyway,
Wow, are
right,
we off
okay. So
topic?
I have introduced James to you folks. This is James Out Loud,
Yep.
as well as wearing a t-shirt and being an excellent conversationalist. I'm still wearing his mask, so very good.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
also fiddling with knobs. Yes, he's got his knobs, and he just fiddles with them
It's
behind
terrible.
the
It's a
scenes,
terrible habit.
under the table here. You see,
Right, right.
a little movement one way, and he gives you my desktop.
I do.
And a little movement the other way, and he shows you my avatar. A little movement another way, and he shows you a different position for my avatar,
Just did it.
etc.,
Yep.
etc., etc. Of course, I can't see the result of what he's doing unless I turn round and look at my monitor. And when I do that, I lose track of what I'm doing on the stage, or on the news desk, I should say. So just can't have it both ways, can I?
No, no.
But where did that picture? Oh, sorry. Right, okay. I just looked at the monitor and thought, where did that woman on her thing come from? But of course, it's the screen I'm ready to go with. Right, okay. So let's get started. Um, I'm going to go through some of the links from the beginning of the week, really, that you'll find at twitter.com/malburns. And the first one is the one we always seem to start with. It's April 26th, i.e. Monday's edition of the Exile Wheat Peak, which is on the Scarred Ghost site, which is SKARR. Oh, I wish you luck spelling that variation.
Yeah,
Never
yeah.
mind. Ow.com. No, that's not copyright, guy. What happens when I type in ow.com? Nothing.
Uh, I'll
Nothing.
have to see the spelling of
Four,
that.
404.
Yeah.
Right. It's something to do with a magic number called 404. Wonder what that can be. So anyway, SKARREDGHOST.com. Scarredghost.com. And various posts throughout the week. It's also Scarred Ghost on Twitter, of course, with various links. Bit like me, he sort of posts sort of directions to other places sometimes. This is his roundup of the week, and of course, it's for the week preceding the one we're on technically now, because it came out on Monday. Um, the week has mostly been in the sign of Oculus. I
Yep.
play on astrology there. Many news updates from the brand controlled by the God Emperor, you know who. As always, they're doing a great job, not only with the product, but also with their communication strategy. Before leaving you to the best news of the week, I'd like to highlight two notable things. Oh, yes, his trolling game Unity Cube, which you'd have to look up to understand. I'll be here all day if I try to explain why he made it. And Magic Leap 2 is coming the end of the year, basically. Um, Facebook's announcing this, that, and t'other, including new avatars. And I think the avatars actually work across different Facebook products rather than just in their virtual worlds. Um, uh, yeah, I'm not going to go into it all. HTC Vive Air is a fitness headset. Um, yeah, quitting on that one. Going to move on to actual news from this week. So let me dispose of that one. Let me go to the top of my list again. Get us in position for the race, so to speak.
Hmm.
And this one's nice. This one's nice. This is I have it. There's a YouTube video with this. I'm hoping it might be on the page here. Hopefully it is. I love surrealism, and when you mention surrealists, everybody thinks of Magritte and Salvador Dali, of course. And basically, Dreams of Dali is open to the public at the Dali Museum in St. Petersburg, in not Russia, Florida.
Mm.
If you can't go there, the virtual reality experience is available free to explore. All you need is a VR headset. Now, what they've done here is they basically created the paintings as virtual reality scenarios. So you walk into these paintings. But of course, if you know Salvador Dali, that doesn't mean walking into a landscape and having a nice little wander around and smelling the flowers. It tends to be a bit more strange than
Hmm.
that. Anyway, the original experience launched in 2018, and they were able to enjoy a remarkable marriage of art and technology as it takes us inside the mind of the legendary realist and transporting us into one of his early paintings, which was reminiscent of Millet's Angelus, 1935. Oh yeah, and here's the video of that one, I think. Now this apparently was the first one a few years ago, so um, uh, the actual stuff now. If Dolly would have loved VR, I'm quite sure he would. Let's just have a look at this because I think it's quite short promotion. Yeah, just 1 minute. So, oh, video unavailable. Watch on YouTube. Naughty people.
Oh,
Oh,
we
doesn't
had
want
quite
to
a bit of
open.
lag, but it looks like we're catching up a little bit.
Well, this yeah, I think this is different. It's refusing to load YouTube
Right,
for
right.
me.
But I saw that message about not loading appear very quickly. But
Yeah.
okay.
Uh, Anyway, you can find this link about it at Pro Video Coalition.com. So here we go. PROVIDEOCOALITION.com. So it's Pro Video Coalition.com. All one word there. And I may on directly on YouTube find it later. I did see it earlier. Whether I kept it in today's playlist, I'm not sure. But that's the news article about it anyway. Moving on, we're still back on art. Um, this is a link to the art newspaper. There's the website. Now here's the reading version. TheartNewspaper.com. You should be fine with this, but do bear in mind this is one of those sites where I don't know they allow you to click in so many times, so often before saying
Mm-hmm.
you can't come in unless you subscribe. Anyway, this is a year of viewing art virtually, the best and worst AR and VR work created during the pandemic. Now they deal with all sorts of art. They have masses of stuff in my feeds every day, so they don't just look at virtual art and stuff like that. But this article seems to have condensed things into AR and VR work itself, rather than galleries that are a bit VR, but are actually showing traditional paintings. Um, so they convened an expert panel of artists and storytellers to review extended reality exhibitions and events. And nice little picture to go with that one, I must say, very
Mm-hmm.
colourful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, right, I noticed the Unreal version has not yet scrolled to the right place, but it gets there in the end, no doubt. I've paused long enough here that it will probably catch up in a minute. Going further down the list, it tells us what the XR panel was about, and it looks at the highest rated um, um, exhibits and the lowest rated. Um, and the year in review. Okay, this is a long article, so there's no way you're going to catch up with the speed with which I'm going down the page. To be honest, I think it sort of speaks for itself. It's a look back on a year, quite a lot of pictures, to go with the exhibits and things they're looking back on. Um, but yeah. So you find that at theartnewspaper.com. The art newspaper, three words squashed into one, as you might expect, because it's the web. Right, moving on. This is a site called freethink.com, FREETHINK.com. And the theme of this article is whether VR can help formerly incarcerated individuals return to the job force. I got very confused with this at first because I suppose I was. Let me just see if I can. Yeah, there we are. That's the web page, and
There it
yeah,
is. Okay.
it's got illustrations. Of course. Okay, okay. Here we are. It's caught up with me now. Thank goodness. It's got illustrations a bit like this one, and it felt very officey and whatever. And I did when I didn't quite realized, that it was in the title, incarcerated individuals. So it's all about sort of reformed prisoners and things. And in America, in a multi-state and federal effort, VR was used to prepare people. Go away, you pop up. Sorry, prepare people in prison for the anxiety of freedom through immersive experiences. I wonder if we do it in reverse. Maybe they give a VR anxiety lesson before people are put in
Hmm.
to prison. That might be more appropriate, won't it, really? Including 30 lessons for common tasks from paying bills to operating a microwave to buying groceries for self checkouts, set within environments they're likely to encounter on the outside. Um, I think those examples actually give you a pretty good idea of the long term prisoners they're dealing with there. Obviously, somebody who's been incarcerated for 30 years doesn't know mobile phones the way we do them. They don't remember microwaves for cooking,
Oh, right.
and they don't remember smart cards for checking out at the sort of the groceries. So obviously, long-term prisoners have quite a lot to catch up on. So, showing them the world as it is outside as a VR simulation sounds like a fairly good way to go about it. And that picture is showing something called Project Overcome, um, etc. But it's just a static image of the sort of stuff going on. On the site itself here, we've got a VR experience of solitary confinement, which is the total opposite of what that was about. So you'll find that at freethink.com, freethink.com. And moving on, though how many hours it would take for the screen to show you. Oh, that one happened quick.
Okay.
Except it's in a funny mood. It's got its
It
colours all
is.
wrong.
It is.
It's showing
Oh,
a totally different colour from what's on my screen. The background is about right, but the background of the picture is like a pillar box red. Anyway, this is voicesofvr.com, of course. I think we have 3 week this week. This is 989, the first one of the week. voicesofvr.com. Kent buys site, of course, and most of the podcasts are by him. There's a roundup on the site here, and then basically a link to then follow it. It's a bit of a resume of a thing that happened in Clubhouse, although here slight misspelling there. We Clue House. I
oh,
should also add to haven't got a Clue House. Ha ha. Sorry.
funny, funny. Yep.
um, yes, I promised James I'd try and get some humour in today because he said let's go live and have some fun.
I did.
Right, that's my idea of fun. Without a Clue House.
That's
Why not?
that
Why not?
works.
Why
Yeah,
not?
it's funny.
It works. It works. Yes, it's funny in a way. Okay, Magic Leap have announced that. Last year they announced layoffs, and they also have made a point of saying they're strictly working for the enterprise now. But if you've got a dedicated enough gamer, with enough money, they don't really care whether the headset they're buying is for the enterprise or for the consumer. If it does the job, and they've got enough money to pay for whatever they need, then they're going to go for what they need, I think. Um, anyway, they've lost various of their staff. It's interesting here that lower down here it says Protocol reported in June last year that a number of the Magic Leap employees who were laid off ended up at Apple, 40% of them, Facebook, 20% of them, Google, 20% of them, Microsoft had 15%, and poor old Amazon only got 5% of them. Note these are rough estimates based upon proportions of the
Mm.
pie graph, they say. Anyway, the big news here is simple fact, and that is Magic Leap are bringing out a new headset in the final quarter of this year. It will be lighter. It will have a slightly different design, way less, may even be a little bit cheaper. But remember, they are aiming at the enterprise, so don't expect it to be a bargain basement thing like the stuff that um, uh, Oculus's owners tend to throw at us. Right. So you can. They've got the 7 employees who were part of the podcast and everything. A little bit of a roundup, but then you click here to actually listen to the broadcast itself. You can also subscribe to Voices of VR on virtually every podcast. Sorry, my throat's getting dry. Platform going, so to speak. Right. moving on, and get my it seems that every gaming CEO in the I was going to say the metaverse in the universe is now promoting a metaverse of some sort.
Hmm.
We had it from Steam. We had it from I've lost track. They're all the ones that are at
Comic
war
books.
with Apple. Yeah, yeah, no, but the ones that are at war with Apple at the moment. Uh, Epic and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, everybody thinks the metaverse is coming, or at least the so-called metaverse, as it says here. You'll find this post is at gamespot.com. So that's GAMESPOT.com. And they say it's rapidly progressing towards that of a legitimate mass marketplace, says Activision's CEO. Um, and thereafter, it's just quotes. Um, Once again, in an attempt to describe what they've I don't know whether they're visionaries or not, but in trying to describe what they're talking about, they are citing Snow Crash and guess what? Ready Player One. This seems to be a habit, sort of. I can see the future, and it's going to be Snow Crash combined with Ready Player One. Except the God Emperor Zuki has other ideas. So don't take it all for granted. They've managed to. Epic Games was the other one, of course, who raised more than $1 billion for that, and donated by PlayStation. Sony donated 200 million US dollars to the Creative Metaverse project too. So in a sense, there's a bit of collaboration going on, but it's by no means up protocols for a blueprint for a real metaverse, so to speak. Anyway, GameSpot.com for that little article. Back to Voices of VR. We're on a round number now. It's episode 990. Just think 10 more episodes and we'll be on number 1000. That is phenomenal. I can't wait to congratulate Kenpai on this one. Right. I think that's more than I've done shows. Well, oh, I don't know really. Never mind. Anyway, this is a sneak peek of the Tribeca Immersive Festival for 2021 with somebody called Lauren Hammonds, um, who's there. Um, there'll be 11 virtual arcade experiences available starting on June the 9th with the Museum of Early Realities. 5 Storyscape experiences only available in person and 13 outdoor screenings, some of which will also be available remotely. And Lauren Hammonds is actually the chief curator. And basically, an interview with him is what that particular podcast is all about. So click through and see. Go to, if you want the link there, go to voicesofvr.com. voicesofvr.com. And moving on. Now, this is a blog post. This site belongs to a friend of ours. Back in the day when we had something called the Metaverse Week in Review, which was a kind of webcast. In other words, I wasn't an avatar, I was an organic on camera. And a late partner, Tara, was with me there. But we also had a lot of guests, people like Slim Warrior. And, I'm not going to list them all, but one of them was a chap called E Predator, or rather Ian Hughes, as I know him. He used to back when we met him. He used to work for IBM, and I always thought it was amusing that his E Predator character, which is a combination of two characters you probably know, was kind of officially endorsed by IBM because his position at IBM ultimately was their metaverse evangelist, or one of two, in fact. Um, Anyway, he left all way back when. He spent a period of time broadcasting on British television here on the BBC, ITV or BBC. It was a program a bit like Click, and it was gadget stuff. It wasn't all metaverse and virtuality, but it was gadget sort of thing. She liked, and yeah, he formed his own company. So from now on, he's also written some science fiction novels, reconfigure and context in the recent years. Anyway, he doesn't actually publish on this site very much anymore, so it's a nice surprise to see him there, and must try and get him in here. I know he's in Sansol because I got him to come into one of the other festivals here late last year. Um, Maybe I get him on the show. I should have thought that a bit earlier today, but never mind, never mind. Anyway, he's done this blog about digital humans evolve, and there is a tie in there with something called Evolver, which is something that was bought by Autodesk back in 2011. So you can see he's going through a bit of history here. The dim and distant era of 2009, he was exploring tools to help me build virtual environments with avatars and characters that could be animated, typically in Unity, etc., etc. Anyway, so it's just really just a bit of reflection there. And he's hooked onto the idea of digital humans and evolving. Um, oh dear, sorry, I've got Alexa at the other side of the room trying to contribute to the program there. I'll tell you what she was saying, but it was something. Right.
I didn't hear a word.
Um, You didn't? Oh,
Nope.
I did. So, because the acoustics are a bit different here.
Right.
I've got stuff in the background that you can't hear because it's down low, but I can. Right. Okay. Right, anyway, he talks about metahumans and actually how he did demonstrate some stuff on the TV slot he had back then, and embed. We have seen this, I think, before. Meet the metahumans. Basically, these this facilitates making these avatars in the Unreal Engine. It's not something that you can, just go and download a meta-human of yourself and then upload it to your favorite game. But if you know the technical side of stuff, you can. I'm not going to obviously play these videos, three of them, and um, it's a good excuse for you to go and visit Ian's site here. So the site's called feedingedge.co.uk. So that's FEEDingedge.co.uk. And yeah, find a little article there and some interesting videos to watch if you haven't seen them before. So let me see. Moving on to another roundup site. This one is called the Week in XR. Yes, golly wolly. Yes, this is at Forbes.com, Forbes.com, and of course it is Charlie Fink's weekly roundup in text form, or at Forbes. Quite a few VR on Forbes this week, several of which, including the first thing here, this new campfire head-mounted display, which has been announced. I had separate posts up about all these, and I put them all away because I thought, well, actually, Charlie has pretty much rounded up everything you need to know in this particular blog post, looking back over the week. This is quite interesting. I know Microsoft did something similar. I forget whether it was with Skype or with their other thing. Um, but this is Zoom themselves. Basically, the idea being that you probably know you can green screen yourself or fake green screen it by blurring a background when you're on Zoom, and they can put you against a fake background. Well, this is what they've done here, except that they've actually used the same background and they mounted 6 people on the call into the same background, so it actually looks like it's a 6-person newscast. It's not. What they need is some kind of round table where everybody's sort of represented equally, and you can pan around the round table while you're in a conversation, which certainly brighten up a Zoom call. You wouldn't have to stare in one's face all the while. You could pan around the round table and sort of look at the person talking.
I'm thinking of
Um,
King Arthur.
yeah. Well, I mean, you actually have a round table chopped in half in basically every democracy I know. The Scottish Parliament, American Congress, they're all
Hmm.
amphitheatre type things. It's one side of the round table. They've chopped off the other half, obviously maybe they had ideas of what they were going to do,
Maybe, right?
what they're going to do with the other half. But conceptually, it's a kind of similar thing. United Nations is a total round table, for example.
Hmm.
It's not a amphitheater. So yeah, yeah. And
So I'll
I
just
don't know.
let me just comment too that I mean Microsoft Teams has had done this quite a while ago, and
That's the one. Yeah,
it was created by Jared Lanier. He was actually the one that said
yeah,
let's have this kind of interface. I've tried it
yeah.
a couple times, and I think it's more disturbing than helpful. But you know, we'll have to see.
Interesting. Yeah.
People's mileage will vary, as they say.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are getting Zoom fatigue and things, and obviously things like Philip Rosedale's high fidelity now, and a whole load of other things which are, what's it, Clubhouse. They're all gear everybody. The new fashion is to gear everything to live audio,
Hmm.
and forget the faces. But I mean, we've had that. We've had live audio groups on Skype for a decade or more. Just have people into the call.
Yeah.
Um, which can be irritable in other ways too, but at least you don't have to stare them in the face all the while or worry that you remember to get dressed for that matter. Um, at least they've got dressed, their tops are dressed at least. Um, yeah, I don't know. There's an argument for having avatar presence, even if it's not in a world, but in a webcam with an avatar that mimics your mouth movements. There's another one for having real conversations. Teleconferencing has been around for a long while. None of this stuff is technically new. It's people jumping into the need for something during COVID. And now COVID is easing off in some places. So, they're running overtime trying to monopolize the market, in my opinion. But we've been forced to use products that have had a real boost because of COVID. And they're not going to let go of that boost. They really want to, you know, um, forge forward and take over the world kind of thing. And we're getting much more, how should I say, monopolization and aggregation of different services under umbrella groups and big corporations and things than we ever have had before. That's another rabbit hole for a later date. I do, this is fair enough. I think that this will probably work better with something like Facebook Messenger, where you've got like family group, where you could plonk, you could have a picture of a sitting room or something. It could be one of the person's sitting rooms, and then the avatars of the other people in the call could, appear in the sitting room. And if they're all members of your family rather than business or professional contacts, then I think that would make the whole thing a bit more agreeable. But I certainly like the idea of this sort of thing, but done in a panorama, where you will be in the center and you will be able to spin around and look at everybody there. You probably have a self view as well somewhere around the table, but that would make it a bit more exciting. Or if somehow the application sensed out of all those six people, maybe it could actually sense the person that's speaking, and the panorama would slide to the speaking person, and then when somebody else interrupted, it would slide to them, kind of thing. Um, that's also something that apparently exists in. I don't know whether there's any of the applications like FaceTime can use it yet, but in the new Apple Pro that has just come out has a facility called Center Stage, where it takes the camera or one of these cameras and defines you as center stage. And then it gets up to all sorts of wizardry where it can follow you around in your environment and include other people in. You know, I don't know where they got a panorama thing. In fact, nobody really knows how it works because I'm not sure if the software other than perhaps FaceTime to actually run it is available then. But it's all in the camera technology that they've got in the new iPad. Anyway, let's go on. That of course is at Forbes.com. It's uh, the week. Also an advert, of course, for the Week in XR podcast, which I'll get to in a minute because we've got that hanging out. So, Forbes.com for this week in XR. Moving on, immersive learning takes students out of the classroom. This is a site called the techadvocate.org. So THETechadvocate.org. And yeah, well, it's happening. Things like you could argue that stuff like this will be slowly progressing anyway, even if we didn't have a plague and being locked away and forcing us online. Um, Here, it's looking at taking students out of the classroom. Learning to virtual reality to teach children and will take teaching to a new level. It will take the student out of the classroom and into a new world where many different things are happening. Now, I think they were, yeah, if you're into education or not, this is really just a roundup article. The way it's phrased, actually, one actually begins to wonder whether they might, in many ways, be talking about AR. In other words, take people out of the classroom into the real world and see a virtual overlay. But yeah, well, it's a short article anyway, so it's just if you know somebody in education who needs a link, probably a good one to send them because it's very basic. That's the techadvocate.org. And talking of this week in XR, yes, we had it a second ago, but this is actually the YouTube version. So it's Charlie Fink again with his companion Ted Chilowitz, and we need a bit of volume. Hello.
We're not seeing
Oh.
it yet either. It's not
Oh.
on the screen.
Right. Okay. Okay. It's jumping around a bit.
Now we
Yeah.
see it.
And you probably still can't hear it though because
Well, we can hear it because
there.
your
Oh.
audio's real time.
17, 18 months.
Oh. Right. Okay.
The bubble upon bubble upon bubble
Well,
is now starting to stretch a little bit.
reminiscing there, but then they had to have a guest. His name is Jay Rice, and he's the CEO of a company called Campfire, which is I think it's a social meeting thing. It's not exactly um, doesn't really tell us here. Um, but anyway, it's a regular weekly post. It's a roundup, a bit like the website, but it's actually different. And it's also not published technically by Forbes. It's independent. So the YouTube channel you want for this is This Week in XR. Yeah, see
Mm-hmm.
there, isn't it? You can 4 words, and the XR, of course, is in capitals. The others have capital starters, but that's it. YouTube.com. Where else would you go for that? Um, if you want a link that will take you directly to this embed, by the way, if you follow the link for this on my Twitter stream, twitter.com/malburns, the link there, even though it may just say youtube.com, does actually take you to the actual page where this program is embedded. If you just go to youtube.com, of course, it doesn't automatically take you to this particular video or any other of the 20 billion videos they've got there for
Mm-hmm.
that matter. Yeah, so bear that in mind. But if you want to subscribe to them, look them up as This Week in VR. Right, now moving on, we've got yet another one. 991 is the episode number of Voices of VR here. And I must say, Kent Bar is very polite, isn't he? Critiquing Facebook's, I think he's being sardonic here, responsible innovation principles and Project Aria through the lens of anthropology and tech ethics. So it, this one's really going for it. Let's put it that way. I don't really, in the way it's in the title. If it's worth listening to this one. I don't think I've listened to it all the way through, but you've got this is one of those posts where he actually does just a fairly basic roundup here. Yeah, for you to read before you actually go and listen to the actual thing. And yeah, I know Kent has shares my opinions about the activities of the self-entitled God Emperor of Tech. It was very interesting. Oh no, I can't remember what it is, so I won't go down that hole. Anyway, voicesvr.com, yet again, VOICESOF VR.com. for that one. And yeah, this is another. Actually, we're getting to the YouTube area now, I think. So I might go back.
There's incredible problem-solving opportunity.
Right. I'm now back at YouTube. I'm a bit ahead of you, of course. This is a site at YouTube called Singularity Watch. That's SINGULARITY space WATCH. That's the account you need to look up on YouTube. And this is season 1, episode 13 of their little effort. And they're talking about virtual reality and artificial intelligence changing people's lives. And despite the fact, we've got a static picture now of their avatars. Um, not quite sure where they filmed this. It could be VR chat. It's very hard to know with some of them, or even Alt Space. But just as you can often get OpenSim confused with Second Life, you can get VR chat and Alt Space confused too. I'm never quite sure where some of these things are happening, but they've got that. They've got that kind of likeness and the usual thing of not too much in the leg front. Or arms, actually, come to think of it. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It is quite interesting to listen to. It's 45 minutes. It's all sensible talking. The kind of thing. This stuff is not new. It's the sort of chat show stuff that I and many have been doing for about 15 years, starting with Second Life and onwards, with considerably more impressive avatars. But it does follow that tradition, and it's worth listening to. They're particular, it's very odd. Singularity Watch's broadcast may well have been webcams or something like that, and but it's amazing how many, you know, basically talk shows have actually transferred to be well, I can't call them machinima, but they're this kind of you know um, virtual world format where you're seeing avatars talking and things like that. And if you're lucky, you might even get their lips move, even though they are legless.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky, indeed. So, youtube.com, and as I say, the site you want. Oops. Well, scrolling's not bad here anyway, is it? It's a Singularity Watch. Okay, SINGULARITY space WATCH, and now, of course, it's come up. But there you go. Right, moving on, moving on. I'm going to go back to the top of my list, and while we're at it, we're going to spend a little bit of time at YouTube and look at a few other things that are there this week. Which these actual ones are not in my Twitter stream, I hasten to add. You can find them on Metaworld's Discord channel, and I have them in Slack. And um, yeah, they also go to my, I don't know if any of you know tooting as opposed to tweeting, but Mastodon is an open source equivalent of kind of Twitter. So I have an account there called Metaworld, I'm pretty sure. And instead of going to Twitter, the video links are tending to go there. But I keep them all here for you on this show as well, so you won't go without as long as you stay tuned in here every week. Right. So I'm going to start with top of the list, really, or the Augmented World Expo.
Let us know what your question is.
Right. These are also recordings, right, and far too long for me to actually play for you. But this is All Night New York City, NYC, and they're basically talking about location, location, location. AR is about location, location. So they're talking about augmented reality things, basically, some bordering on VR, some of them strictly AR. Um, Quite a good panel there, however. I guess they all live in New York. Megan Hughes is from Niantic, which we were talking about just a couple of weeks ago. And Mike Boland's pretty well known too from AR Insider. The other two, I'm not quite sure, but one's from Google, so maps, and AR Way, I'm not sure about. Anyway, it's a good talk. A lot of these are. That is the title screen, as you can tell. When it gets going, it switches to their real live faces, so it's a real life Zoom call recorded, basically. So again, YouTube, come and the site you want here. I better start scrolling ahead of this, hadn't I?
Right, right.
It's AWE space dash space augmented space world space expo. And they have quite a lot of videos there. Oh, you can see it now, actually. So if you look up that account, um, you'll uh, um, you'll find it and various other videos they have too. Um, right. And in fact, it's not just the New York chapter videos that are at that address. If you subscribe to that account, you get all nice from all over the world, basically, whatever chapter they're from. Right. So that one is that. Moving down. Okay. Scroll down again. This is Microsoft HoloLens review. And
For better and worse,
I'm going to. This comes from a very familiar site, of course. It's Upload VR at YouTube. UPLOAD and then VR in caps, but or written as all one word. And oh yeah, you can see it there now. So we sped up a bit by the look of it.
Yeah.
It's actually very short. It's 10 minutes of.
HoloLens 2 is ahead of its time. The $3,500 headset is a trailblazer, offering.
That's what I was waiting for. Yep, Microsoft HoloLens 2, £3,500. It might even be more expensive than the newly announced Magic Leap. Maybe we're moving into an entire new price bracket for
Yeah,
serious
maybe.
headsets.
Right.
Anyway, this chap actually has done it. He's British too. He obviously got a copy of a version of it from somewhere, and done a very articulate, good review. I won't play it all. I know it's only 10 minutes, but don't want to get the Upload VR people hijack all their wonderful videos. So Upload VR at YouTube. Moving on. This one again, everything here is at YouTube basically. Making emotional connections
Hello
with.
and welcome to Making Emotional Connections with Volumetric Video.
I'll let her say it for me. Right, making emotional connections with volumetric video. Now, this was a presentation, as is the next one, at SXSW, South by Southwest. What do you call it? A convention or something this year. It's only a few weeks ago, but they don't broadcast, they don't publish anything at the time except on the live stream. But give it a few weeks, and they flooded YouTube this week with masses of stuff. I've just chosen a couple that are actually relevant to virtuality, virtual worlds. Even though this year, of course, the whole of SXSW was held virtually, meaning online, basically with webcams and stuff, but also they literally built Austin, Texas, as a virtual environment. I haven't come across any videos that are actually filmed in that environment itself yet, but it's hoping we get to see it. Anyway, this is just 25 minutes of a talk about emotional connections, and she goes into well, hang on. This is the site you need, SXSW. That's the account at YouTube. And she's talking about video being an important storytelling tool. What happens when you have 3D holographic video that can be played on any platform or device? So, talking about telling stories and making strong emotional connections, um, and basically pointing out that what you actually play on those screens and everything else is very important. You can't just take the medium and put something on it and think, "Yay, I've done something for that." So she talks about hearing from 4 season creatives on what stories they found make the strongest connections with audiences and the most effective ways to make and retain those connections. So that covers quite a lot for what is actually essentially 25 minutes.
I am your host and moderator, Kira Benzing. I'm the founder of Double I Studios and the director of the live VR theater production Finding Pandora X. And I'm joined today with Antoine Querol, the producer and co-founder of Atlas V, whose previous titles using volumetric capture include Vestige, Fragments, Missing Pictures, and Ayahuasca. And a fun fact, his recent work included over 30 performers filmed on the Dimension stage in London. I'm also joined with Ilya Silak, a writer, director, and new media artist who is the co-founder of Cloudred. Her recent work, Queerskin's Arc, was filmed at Intel Studios involving dancers.
Okay, I'm going to pause it there. There's still a bit of lag, and you obviously hear me voice in real time, so you can hear what she's saying. But it's going to be 5 minutes if I wait for her to introduce everybody there, I think. So anyway, good one to watch, and get it at SXSW on YouTube. And likewise, this next one, I think we will find is the same account. I'm going to scroll down quickly, so even with lag, you get it.
Is that the technology continues to evolve.
Yeah, this one's called Can VR Create Real Change? And again, same account, SXSW. And this one's coming through quicker now. Right, talking about VR for good, the empathy machine story living. VR has got quite a reputation for creating impact. But does the hype really add up? We're at a pivotal moment in history with socio-political division at an all-time high and less than a decade left to prevent climate crisis. Could creating virtual realities actually help us move towards a better tomorrow? And or they don't dare say it, of course, but or not. I certainly think it can, but there are a lot more issues diving into virtual reality. There was some the God Emperor was quoted at some point during the week about how the future is hanging in the balance, and his company has to sort out the connections for advanced communication and responsive avatars or something like that. And the headline reply is does a guy who is worth so and so billion really think this is the most important thing facing our world today? Well, of course it is. How can we save the world without the God Emperor and his mega network? Yeah, I don't know. Anybody got any answers? All right, maybe watch this and get some idea of the possibilities. Anyway, I forget who this guy is. I think he's Gabe Aurora.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Kieran. I'm the Director of EarthXR Programming and Partnerships. I'm also super excited to be here. I fell in love with festivals with.
Okay, this is difficult because, like the other thing, I've got a panel with a whole load of people on, but the interest they either long intros or they introduce themselves as it comes along. So short of playing the whole thing, I can't really tell you who everybody is in this. But then again, it's a great one to listen to. Now this is nearly an hour at 56 minutes, but again, well worth it. If I know these are SXSW, South by Southwest. But well, my pick for once that you really be worth to listen to. Okay, moving on to YouTube, of course. This again is conversational. It's a shared space.
I really am so excited to be here at South by Southwest and to be welcoming to our stage Shari Freelo, the curator of New Frontiers at Sundance Film Festival and the Sundance Institute, and Nancy Baker Cahill, who the artist of many amazing art pieces, but also Legacy, which was an art piece she created for South by Southwest's art program last year.
Right. Okay. I should have pointed out this is yet another one, of course, at SXSW here. And this is two art curators of XR, extended reality artists, and a curator discussing basically extended reality art in shared public space. And this one, of course, again, this is in the virtual environment that they created for the festival. It's only a room with a stage, so but I think the feel, the graphic feel of the world is fairly evident here, and the extended environment of Austin, Texas, they did virtually is follows this kind of model, as it were. So SXSW is the site you want again here, and another interesting talk. This one's 45 minutes, by the way. So none of them are short, but they're not particularly epical either. In fact, most of them are damn sight shorter than this news bulletin. So there you go. Right, moving on again. This is a virtual reality mental health speaker. Her name is Callie Leone, and this is published on Monday, I believe. Um, yeah, here we are.
All
This is Educators in VR. They're publishing a whole load of stuff now. I think most of this stuff is recorded in AltSpace VR. Can't be so sure of that. Um, this session was on Monday last from 70 from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Um, in the UK here. Most of their things are live things are at UK times, which is great for me. Not that I actually make them because I don't easily like shifting to Allspace VR when my screens are full of more interesting stuff. But to listen to, very good stuff indeed. And they've also been involved with something else, which I think is going to come up shortly. That has been happening since yesterday and will be going on through May. Anyway, this is one particular speaker with Callie Leon. Avatar only, of course, and as you can see, what you see is what. Oops. Just gonna say, what you see is what you get, Avatar wise here. God, something's going to move. Oh dear, come on, come on. I can't.
righty, everyone. Welcome to VR Researchers. We're about to get started today. So, if this is your first time with VR Researchers, we are a community here in AltSpace that hosts weekly events where we welcome the VR research community, both from industry as well as academia, in order to support ongoing research through these events.
Right, well, he's giving you most of it there. Right, so this one is posted. The account you want here is Educators in VR. Spaces there, so Educators space in space VR. And oh yes, it's coming up on screen in World too, so we're fine there. And yeah, again, well worth subscribing to their account because they actually have a massive stuff here. Just looking at the sidebar, we've got XR Safety Awareness Week. And actually the rest aren't theirs, but they do, yeah, developing an XR museum project, wherever that was there. That's one of theirs. Um, yeah, a load of stuff. They got one on VR locomotion and Educators in VR with Andy Fidel. Um, yeah, so this is general links, but you can see how prominent they are even in the general listings. And this is actually the one I was thinking of. I think I'm just going to click on this quickly. Um, the opening happened yesterday, and Charlie Fink, of course, from Forbes and the Week in XR, was actually their guest. They were in a platform called Engage, and if we can, we will endeavour to zoom into it a bit more.
It's my huge honor and pleasure to introduce Charlie Fink. Charlie Fink is a futurist, a Forbes columnist, consultant in many ways, a speaker extraordinaire. And I would like to start considering myself your friend, Charlie. You're back, which means something right, I think. I'm going to hand over the stage to you. Wait, got for us. And we're going to do, everybody stick around for after. We've got some Q&A with Charlie. After Charlie's Q&A, we're going to have a couple of words from our Infinity sponsor, HP. And we're going over to our expo, which is another treat. So we're
right now. This is another clip. It's the same site, the same YouTube account, Educators Space in VR. This would have been, yeah, this must have been yesterday. Actually, it's only had 30 views, so come on, go down this today. The one thing I seem like about this platform, although I haven't really investigated that much, is rather like, well, the realism of the avatar. As you can see, Charlie Fink here is obviously taking time to. I think they've worked from photographs or stuff with the presenter here as well. You get this sort of avatar likeness that is still very much a cartoony kind of avatar, but because it's based on photographic faces and things and it's got good movement, it's actually it does grab you. It does grab you basically. In some ways, it grabs you better than me here in Samsung at the moment, which is all very wonderful, but it doesn't. Somebody seeing me here on TV at the moment may recognise my face and think, "Oh, well, that's Mal Bones," but they won't from the look of me here. Have if they weren't to hear my voice, they wouldn't have any idea whether I'm the Mal Bones they know or some other bloke with the same name or whatever. So I quite like it when you actually see faces here. And but then again, this is not a fixed up Zoom call or anything else. This is actually avatar stuff that's actually going on. So it's nice. I think we mentioned this last week, and James actually pointed out to me we may have been off air at the time that. Although this is actually rather nice, it is not a very good platform if you actually want to film. And I tend to be fussy about interfaces showing, and as you can tell, everybody's got a name tag over their head here and a little star and stuff like that. And there may be a way of getting the interface in there, but I don't know what it is, so I'd really have to go in and maybe talk to somebody and find out because I do actually quite like it. So anyway, Educators in VR is the YouTube account you want for that one. And now we're back on VR upload again. Um, this is a VR download. This is actually early in the week. This is the edition.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to
This is the edition on Mondays where they look at technology and stuff like that. They have another edition on Thursdays, which I don't normally keep or plug here, but that's more about gaming and experiences in VR. Less to do with the technology and possibilities. It's more rounded. It's like a game roundup almost. So this is their Monday edition. The account you need, as I said, is Upload VR, UPLOAD, and then VR in capitals, but expressed all as one word. I think we've caught up in world, so I can just highlight that now and you can see it. Yeah.
Yep.
And you can also join it for, so you get notifications from them. Well worth joining too, because you not only get 2 episodes of this show a week, or the Monday one in particular, but you get a whole load of other things they put up too. In fact, one of the things we looked at earlier was one of theirs as well.
Well, what's
Right,
nice is they have a very lively chat, so they've got a good audience.
Yeah,
which is fun.
they
It adds to the conversation, and they respond to the audience, which is even better.
yeah, it's just a good show all round. I mean, I keep imagining if they filmed this in Sansa or even in Second Life or something, how much they could add to the visual fidelity. But if a lot of talking head programs, you've got to consider that they can, like Charlie Thinks, it's our podcast. It's available on audio platforms too. In fact, I think the YouTube version is the only one that contains video as well as the audio soundtrack. So a lot of these things you can literally keep playing somewhere and listen to them. And you really don't have to look at the avatars and stuff. The only thing I would say is a bit like I'm sharing web links on my screen here. While they're actually broadcasting, you may find they pull up screenshots and screen footage of what they're talking about. And of course, when you're watching on video, that's the great thing. It becomes a TV program of sorts. Anyway, you want Upload VR? Is the account you want for that? I think I just did that, didn't I? But there we go again, just in case. Upload VR. And moving on. Right. This, interestingly, at YouTube, again, these happen quite often now. This is the VR Chat Community Meetup. This was a recording from the 25th of April, which is, I guess it was last Sunday when we were last live, in fact. So this is probably going on while we're there. They have a Discord channel for the community meetup, and they also have another Discord channel for VR chat itself. And they give you them there in case you want them. That's Discord channels are a great way to get notifications of what things are doing, and they probably I get so many of them coming through, but they probably post something like this up, in Discord shortly before it actually goes live. So they'll be sending you a message saying, we're going live in a few minutes, come join us. Okay, the YouTube account you want here, by the way, is a bit of an odd one. It's not obviously VR chat. It's Cyan Laser, all one word. So CyanLaser. And you can obviously subscribe there too. And if I can, I'm actually going to just click on that. And okay, it's not working here because I'm in the wrong browser, but I will actually add that one to my own Discord library later. I'm already in the VR chat one, but I didn't realize Community Meetup had its own one. So there we go. So Cyan Laser at YouTube there. And by the way, that is 2 hours, 35 minutes of meetup. So you need to be pretty dedicated for that. But then again, if you want to know what's going on in VR chat and stuff, a place to watch the community meeting, I suppose. What else can we say? Okay, moving on. Right, now this one is back to one of our other favorite platforms. We know them very well. This is Sciencebase. And Virtual Pioneers, which is a sort of weekly club run by Spiff Whitfield, who I actually interviewed a few weeks ago at VWBPE. They go all over the sort of place. This was last Sunday. They do collide with this show, I'm afraid. 5 p.m. Second Lifetime. So, well, it was not colliding with this show, but it was much later last Sunday. They took a journey to Sciencebase. Saitarm, who's a regular person around these things, was there too, joining them. And they were touring the Glacial National Park in Sciencebase. Now, I think I actually put something up last week, which was basically a video that again did a tour of that national park, but it wasn't like the Pioneers group doing the tour. It was more of a documentary sort of tour. So it's getting a lot of attention. Scenery, flora, and fauna are amazing. And the tour ends at the Blackfeet Indian Reservation, which borders the park on the northeast. This is a Native American village circa 1800s through to 1904 for the history and cultural significance. So it's the whole thing is based on a real area and its history. So what can I say?
Placed individually by snow tracks. These are not a sprinkle out. They lovingly hand created.
Okay. Smith. Well, actually, I don't think that is Smith. I think there's somebody else talking on that bit because I fast forwarded in here a bit. The audio is quite clear for me, but it's not pitched very loud.
No, we couldn't hear it.
We heard
a little voice squeaking down in the corner, but that was about it.
Yeah, well, I'm on full volume in YouTube and full volume on my machine, so even I thought it was a bit low. But I'm sure if you look it up and go there, you'll be fine. Just have to ramp everything up. So the it's Spiff's own account here for Virtual Pioneers, SPIFF space WHITFIELD. And you can watch it there. And that account is quite good for other stuff too. I think he posts all the Virtual Pioneers tours and stuff that is possible to film on that account as well. So moving on. The future of the immersive metaverse. Again, we're still on YouTube here.
Now, this avatar.
This is I don't know what to think of this really. This is Arthur Psychoff. I think that's how you pronounce it. Not Arthur Psycho. No, Artur Sychov. ARTUR and then SYCHOV. Now he is the CEO of Thing Me. So, oh Good. It's major. It's one of the major blockchain metaverse platforms, right? And they had an event. This is day one of something called Blockdown, right? And let me see, let's get this open. Not really very helpful. I mean, it's all about the Blockdown conference, but it doesn't mention which world they're in, and I should know it. It's on the tip of my tongue, but when you're live on TV, your
I can't
mind
help. I
sometimes.
don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It probably come to me later. Anyway, he is talking here. Earlier in the week, and it's 25 minutes long, basically. But he's talking about the future of the immersive metaverse. I'm just going to play a little bit of it because I got a feeling he might tell us what his world is.
Which I'm talking and using full body tracking with, is also an NFT. Now that is a real use case. When you buy something, when you buy an NFT with a real use case, that's what you get. You get a real use of it.
Just a sec.
And has been navigating virtual worlds for more than 2 decades. He's also a strong believer in the ultimate future of virtual reality worlds with an open and decentralized economy. Please put your virtual hands together for the founder and CEO of Somnium Space,
That's it.
Arthur Sinjov. Welcome.
Arthur Sinjov. Okay, right. Well, I got a few things wrong. One was the pronunciation. And I have been reminded Somnium Space, of course, is the one I was thinking of. How I could escape the link to that, I don't know. Anyway, 25 minutes of him talking there. Now, this is broadcast, in fact, on, I think this is relatively new. The account is Blockdown TV. Block as in presumably blockchain, down as in download, and TV. Blockdown Space TV. And that's their account. And this basically was the first day of an event they held, blockchain number one, I guess. And yeah, and so Otto was the guest speaker, which actually makes sense if they're because Somnium Space is his world is one of the first and probably the principal one for a long while at least, built on the blockchain. Philip Rosedale's Virtual High Fidelity originally did a bit of that, and of course now everybody under the sun wants a blockchain virtual world. And the only thing distracting them from that is purchasing non-fungible trinkets. Yeah, lots of non-fungible trinkets happening in the week. People saying their own name and themselves, they're turning themselves into a non-fungible trinket. And yeah, I don't know what you do with it. If you sell yourself to somebody as a non-fungible, what's it? I don't know. What can they do with you? They can say they own you, maybe. I don't know. Why don't we liberate all the billions of the God Emperor's money by getting him to buy everybody purchase everybody on the planet as a non-fungible trinket? And then he can just go on, live off in his fast world with everybody on the planet connected to him as a non-fungible trinket. Meanwhile, we organics don't need to just tell him to piss off, really, don't we? Anyway, that's musing a little bit there. Blockdown TV is the account you want there on YouTube. And right, moving on. We're still on YouTube here, by the way. So you should be making a note of these accounts I give you because I haven't got them listed easily anywhere for you except in
cool.
Mastodon.
I'm just saying a lot of cool because it's just that cool.
Yeah, well, she's fairly adamant about her thoughts, isn't she? Very cool, yes, very cool indeed. Right, this is a platform called Rec Room, and actually we have a post on then coming up in a minute or two, I think, when I get back to the text things. Or maybe we've had it already. They also have raised more money to start a massive metaverse. This is in Rec Room, and it's actually it's called Gallery. It's a weekly art gallery that switches. It's gallery basically once every week. And showcases creators' works in art and circuits. Hang out with some amazing creators and get inspired. It's got links to room building, creative classes, and the everything you really need in Rec Room there. They also have a Discord server, which they don't list there, but that's quite interesting too. Yeah, this is basically a look at their gallery as it is this week.
That's awesome. I love it. It's great.
Oh, she's got a cute little voice there. Right, it's 36 minutes long, basically, and it's not all her. They do start moving around.
For sure, he will. All right, and now we have these really beautiful plants over here on this side here. Lots of really pretty plants. Very nice there. And this was actually
okay. It is mostly her voice all the way through. It's a charming voice, actually, if nothing else. It's, if you get something that otherwise might be a bit boring, even with the visual side of it, when you've got a commentator whose voice grabs you, it goes a long way to keeping you engaged. It's just one of many factors that make for these kind of broadcasts. Okay, now moving down here. Oh, sorry. For this you need the Rec Room account. REC space ROOM at YouTube, of course. Okay, and now back on YouTube. I think this is the different one. Oh, okay. Now it is. This is another version, right, of the Virtual Pioneers tour that we had a few minutes ago at Science Base, right, in the Glacier National Park. This one is actually filmed by Sightarm. So, if you're in Second Life, you probably know him as Sightarm Madonna. He is actually a she, or rather, she's a he, which confuses things a bit in virtual reality. It often happens. It's around a lot in the early days. I remember them around quite a lot, and then just sort of disappeared, but recently reappeared, including at I think it was BWBP. I think he was quite prominent there a few weeks ago. Anyway, so YouTube channel is Sightarm, and this is basically a different, possibly sort of visually cleaner take. It's hard to tell because there's a limit to what you can actually hide interface-wise in Science Space. But there we are.
Okay, what I want everybody to do is to walk through the fences, the V funnel fence that Snow Tracks. Why don't you kind of start leading the way there?
Okay. So even if you don't get to Science Space, you can watch this, or maybe you want to watch this before going to Science Space, so you've got an idea of what it is you're sort of jumping into. Okay, so I don't know whether there's any more videos coming up, but that's actually all the separately annotated videos here. And now we're back on the test feed, and we're actually, I now need to scroll down to wherever we left off. Okay, we did Voices of VR on Facebook's responsible behavior or lack of it. Not sure where this is in our YouTube one. I think, did we cover this one earlier?
Different.
Oh yeah, Singularity Watch.
Today they
Yeah.
slow us down.
Okay. So right, so I know where we are now. Okay, so this next site is the VR AR. THEVRARA.com. And they're looking at a new company that uses VR with Pico's advanced eye tracking hardware. Pico makes this other headset. And they're using it to analyze brain health. React Neuro, a VR company, are using AI and digital exams with aim at measuring brain health. And it's chosen Pico Interactive's Neo 2 eye virtual reality headset, which is equipped with Tobii eye tracking. Hardware of choice to help analyze brain health by using advanced eye tracking capabilities. This could help patients who suffer from severe cognitive decline, such as Alzheimer's disease or brain damage from concussions, or just don't know what the hell they're doing anyway. That would fit me. Right. Let's right, a bit silly there, although you never know. Right. technical, really. It's they give you all the details here. It's basically an announcement. Basically it tells you why Pico's advanced tracking hardware and headset is ideally placed for analyzing brain health. The analyzing of brain health, of course, is the technical side to it. Um, and the company hopes to change attitudes towards brain health to make it as accessible and normal as heart health, etc., etc. And they got a couple of the links where they're looking at the two companies involved there, Pico Interactive and ReactNeuro.com. The links to which you can follow by yourselves if you're interested in that stuff. So it is TheVRARA.com. And there's another one coming up from them. There it is. I'm going to jump ahead to it. This is the same site again, TheVRARA.com. And this is an announcement about a company called Virtualware who've partnered with Cleanbox, which we covered before, Cleanbox technology to bring premium VR hygiene to VR. I don't know what Viru is. Oh, yeah, Viru is another thing. It's an all-in-one tool that places the full potential of virtual reality in your hands, giving companies and institutions the power to pursue the extraordinary by boosting innovations. With Viru, everybody can create, manage, and deploy any VR project without limits. Right, which actually is a bit of a diversion because Cleanbox technology, Virtualware are a unique company mastering virtual reality since 24, right? Cleanbox technology basically are a premium, eco-friendly, smart tech hygiene solution for the decontamination of VR headsets to bring state-of-the-art hygiene to Viru. Now, all that aside, Cleanbox technology do various stuff anyway. You can buy off them, for example, cleaning materials for your Oculus or other VR headset. They're not. They obviously do provide solutions to companies and things, which basically probably means they just sell in bulk. But their products do tend to be available for people, particularly keen to have a safe hygienic experience as well as an innovative one. Um, uh, they recognise the importance of hygiene in today's world, in particular, I guess, and with Cleanbox the problem is solved. And so they tell you about Virtualware, Viru, and Cleanbox, and you've got various links you can follow up on that. So again, that's another post at thevra.com, TheVRARA.com. And they do a newsletter, I think it's daily. They send you links and stuff if you really want them. They're not all. Some of them are really just anecdotal and not worth following, but they are a good source if you want industry links. Right. Okay, I need to go one up, don't I? Oh yeah. Now this is the thing we hinted at earlier. We were talking about Educators VR. Starting yesterday and going on to the 30th May, they're having this thing called a Univirtual Experience. It's jointly between the Educators in VR and the Virtual World Society. And it's all over the place. It's going to be in various different places as well. 12 metaverse platforms are taking part. It's free and open to the public, so no need to register and pay lots of extortionate money for a COVID-free experience. 200 events with education and XR industry leaders. Workshops, classes, virtual world tours, platform tours, introduction, training sessions, open discussions, socials, concerts, and exhibits. Yoo! On over 18 virtual platforms and multi-user apps, including Altspace VR, Engage, Mozilla Hubs, Somnium Space, Ibella, Brain VR, Sansar here, and other social and event VR platforms. So this has it all, really. The site you want here is educatorsinvr.com. Right, if you follow my link from my Twitter feed, you'll get to the actual page for this, but I imagine finding a major event like this will be pretty easy if you just get to their home site. So educatorsinvr.com. And there's a load of them hanging around there in one virtual world. I can tell you which ones it's not. I'm not sure which ones it is. Okay, last year's Educational International Summit attracted more than 6,000 event attendees over 6 days 150 events across 6 platforms, so they've obviously extended that a bit now. Univirtual Experience is designed to unite the universe with immersive and virtual experience in a festival format, encouraging, inspiring, and engaging education in virtual reality. It expands this year to 30 days and is more inclusive, etc. Um, we've missed Charlie Fink. He actually opened it yesterday. Um, but they got Tom Furness. He was of his, I think it was last year at VWBP. He did sing. Caitlin Krause from the Virtual World Society. Jeremy Bailison of Stanford's Virtual Human Interaction Lab. A load of people here. Chris Masden from Engage. Let's see. Oh, Laurie Van Vossen. Well, actually, she, she's most known for Educators in VR itself, to be honest. So that's fair enough. Okay, the month-long event sponsored by HP and their HP VR Ready headsets. So they've got decent sponsors there by the sound of it. They have multiple persistent exhibit and expo halls in Altspace VR and Engage VR. And they have somewhere at LearnBright to learn more about sponsors and speakers. And yeah, let's see. It got all the details here anyway. And at the end, they reiterate that it's free and open to all. And events are grouped by main events, workshops and classes, and special events. And if I click here, I can go to a master schedule of events, which is actually set by time zones. Again, it's just the site is just reading educatorsinvr.com. Yes, it's got all the time zones from everywhere from LA through London to Australia. Gosh, golly what? Yeah, it's definitely worldwide, isn't it? Following is a general calendar, but you can't click on it. Where is this general calendar, I ask? Okay, VR again. Oh, master calendar, maybe that's how to attend. That's a list of all the spaces. Multi-brush Neos. There's a load of extra venues there they're going to be using. Sansai here I've mentioned. Rec Room, of course. Mozilla Hubs, we know. Okay, actually, apart from possibly Sansai and Mozilla Hubs, they've conspicuous by its absence are places like OpenSim and Second Life, but of course they're not really designed for educators, those platforms, despite having big sort of subcultures of educators within them. Anyway, educatorsinvr.com is what you want for all that, and as you can see, there are links all over the place, to where the events actually take place. And the only thing check their events calendar. Oh, this is on Engage. Okay, some of the calendars are on particular. Sunday, May 2nd. Oh, this is interesting. 8 p.m. At the same time as the show here. Tony Vitillo, who of course is a ghost that howls. Cue the noise. he was actually there. He was talking at 8 p.m. And I presume that, actually, it depends which 8 p.m. it is. But being as he's in Europe, and I am too, sort of, if Britain even counts for anything these days, I think we're still European, sort of. We're just off the coast, aren't we? No, sorry, I'm rabbiting again. Yeah, anyway, there's obviously an awful lot of links to follow there to get what you might need. Okay, getting back to my master list. We don't really have that much. Oh yeah, three more pieces to go really. Okay, the International Space Station. You've heard of that thing?
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's probably the only place where you can meet a Russian and American not battling it out these days. Okay, they're going to go on tour with a VR exhibit called The Infinite. Now, this is VR, but it's going to be out-of-home VR. This product Infinite can cope with 100 simultaneous users who will be able to roam free in a one-to-one reproduction of the International Space Station, up to 100 people at a time. And it's all done with immersive footage that has been shot on the ISS, basically. The Infinite Living Among the Stars, subtitle, is a new immersive touring exhibition which will open up the space station to the public by tapping into the largest media project ever to be filmed in space. And well, it talks about the station there. It's done in collaboration with Felix and Paul Studios, well known, of course, and in collaboration with Time Magazine, or Time Studios, same thing, I guess. Right, in 2020, they released Space Explorers, the ISS Experience, which was a four-part immersive series for Oculus, whereas this expands upon that project to bring the sense of being in space to more audiences, basically. Now, let's just have a looky here because there is a little video clip here embedded in this blog.
So for the past 20 years, humans have been living continuously aboard the International Space Station.
Okay, this is actually 5 minutes long, so obviously I'm not going to play it all. Taking us in a bit.
Completely reimagined. Thanks to years of experience, we have refined the processes of operating a location-based experience. We have handpicked technologies, we have created new tools for the VR industry, and this project is the culmination of this learning process. With it, we are hoping to set a new standard for the operation of large-scale location-based experiences.
Alors nous sommes à l'Arsenal pour tester le premier prototype de l'expérience Infinity. L'utilisation d'Unreal est capitale.
Oh, that's a bit of French, right? Obviously, you can go to the site to look at it all. Now, let's get that for you. The site is called collectspace.com. collectspac.com. And the article, of course, is the main thing there. International Space Stations go on tour. The YouTube video here is actually embedded in the page, but obviously you can click through to get it separately if you really want. Right, they then talk about how they took the cameras out for filming and stuff like that. And after viewing the spacewalk and 35 minutes of free roaming VR footage, users will doff the headsets and wander through a series of environments to gently bring them down to Earth. God, sounds like taking you off a bad trip. Just something. Anyway, no, I think that actually sounds great. That could be a wonderful thing. Although, of course, I don't know whether I would want to actually visit such an experience for a good couple of years yet until I know the plague has gone dormant again. But if it ever does, well, we will see what we will see. So, as I say, collectspace.com is where you want for that. Now, I mentioned earlier that we had another post on Rec Room, and this is it. This is a post at Upload VR. Not the YouTube site, obviously, just the website. And talking about Rec Room, they are now planning to pay out more than $100 million to creators this year. And it could even be several times that, said the company representative. It's a creator compensation program. Players need to meet certain requirements to cash out in-game tokens, etc., etc. But it has been pointed out that, well, it's in the title here, that they say Red Room comes after Roblox, because Roblox and a whole load of other platforms have been doing the same thing. And, obviously taking, filling up, furnishing their virtual worlds very seriously. So they want to buy all this stuff in. What it may, I'm not going to rabbit hole on this. I think I've done it often enough. But the thing about this, is apparently if you're a virtual world now, the more money you can cough up to pay for creators, the better your world is going to be and the more newsworthy you are. But quite frankly, what they're coming up with, it pales by comparison to what people did in OpenSim and Second Life more than a decade ago. And they didn't need to be paid. They just took the tools and made the world. And arguably, you could say people like Linden Lab have got laughing all the way to the bank because they are making a hell of a lot of money out of a platform that they just gave the users to create for themselves. Obviously, they do contribute a few things as a company, mostly the banks, but and the moles that dig the tunnels and whatever they do. But it doesn't it seem funny if these people really had a user-based virtual world, a serious one, in mind that was well defined by I don't know, Rec Room, Roblox, whoever. Why are they raising huge amounts of money from Sony and what Epic Games are doing it to pay out to get creativity in there? You know, they should if they do a decent enough platform, they should be attracting the creators. And the other thing about creators is that we know this from places like OpenSim, for all the faults that having no employer, right, around creates because there's nobody to oversee things and coordinate things sometimes. But for all the problems that causes, you get very interesting creativity coming out there because people are working. They're not working to earn money or to fulfill a contract or whatever. They're working to create something for themselves that they're then eager to share with other people. And that is a whole different psychology. And I wonder how many of these worlds that are coming online, trying to buy in creativity, are really going to go that far when their attitude is simply, well, we want to compete with the God Emperor Zuckerberg and we can buy anything we want, you know. Think of the Beatles. Money can't buy everything, my love. But what it can buy, will buy for you. No, there's a different psychology at play there. And I'm sure money comes into it, and the open worlds and everything else. As I say, Second Life makes money. Some individual grids on OpenSim make money. But the the psychological space where operating the platform comes from is very different. When it's throwing the money at the thing and just hoping money's gonna get the thing going, and that's not the way to start anything that is really meant to be social. You can force people into some kind of network, like it's only taken the fast book 15 years to go from a university to a global phenomenon, but you know they just give you a communication tool and suck up your data, but nobody's aware of it because they're not paying any actual cash. Um, who knows? Who knows? But anyway, see next week's episode where we'll probably have a half dozen more metaverse aspirational worlds that are going to pay lots of money for content and creators. Who knows? Okay, last post. Last post. We need a recording of the last post.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to find one. Right, this is the last one for the day. Right, the use of virtual and augmented reality by older adults, potentials and challenges. This is an in deep stuff, right? The site is Frontier Sin. God, I don't know where it got that name, or maybe it's meant to be Frontiers In. Who knows? FRONTIERSIN.org. And I think we had another post from them recently. I don't no, I'm sure it wasn't this one because this was History Today, I think, the most recent. It's a long post. I'm doing a quick scroll. I don't know where you can see it. Oh, I've lost my own world picture. My monitor's gone to sleep. Right.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I think we're seeing you scrolling.
Yeah, you're behind me, but yeah. It actually doesn't really matter. This is all citations and stuff there and cross-referencing full text. There's a lot to read here. A lot of it is not showing up on the reader view here. So pretty much a sort of academic sort of paper, but it's a big one, basically. And well worth the read. If you have aspirations to use virtual worlds or augmented reality to cater for older adults, whether it's the subject matter you give and create and platform you might create to be used by older adults, or whether it's actually to use VR itself to overcome things that older adults, maybe um, pensioners in care homes, things like that. You're providing the virtual reality experience to enhance their life rather than the issue of what creating a game especially for geriatrics sort of thing. Anyway, you get into it. There's nothing I can do really to summarize this. anymore. So it's frontiersin.org. And that's that for this week, basically. All me things is dunny. It somehow feels like we might actually run a little bit longer this week. I'm just guessing.
Yeah,
I've got
about.
I've got an error message hiding my time at YouTube.
Oh, okay, all right.
They never stop,
Yeah.
Error, please use a keyframe frequency of 4 seconds or less. Open the widget. Whatever they're doing. Right. Okay, any thoughts, James, on that lot?
No, I don't think I have any thoughts. I'm sorry.
You've probably got 1,000 thoughts you don't even dare start.
Yeah, it could.
I'm quite keen on this educators in VR thing that's obviously going to be happening all month. I'm going to have to make an effort to try and attend a lot of that because it's probably going to be a good opportunity for me to, especially as a lot of it's in European time.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good opportunity for me to actually go to possibly a lot of virtual worlds, 2D ones on screen that I haven't been to either before, or at least for a long while, just to see how they're all going and stuff and compare them. I'm quite keen to go to some of the ones in Engage. I mean, as a consumer or attendee, I don't really need to worry about the camera, but yeah, it's almost a reconnaissance, for possible filming and stuff like that. So yeah, good stuff there. Okay, well, in an attempt to actually still keep us down to a reasonable amount of time, I will not find a rabbit hole to jump down by way of the exit.
All right. All right.
So I will thank you for being here, James.
Oh, you're very welcome.
And
Now.
I
It's my
will
pleasure.
thank you. I will thank myself, and then I will go into the little routine of it's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from him.
Because when it comes to mixed reality, MR, VR, AR, XR, whatever are coming. At the end of the day, if you want to find out about it, you've got to remember that we are. Yes, we two is one. As what was it, Annie Lennox? No, Eurythmics had an album called We Two Are One.
Yeah.
So yes, I think that is a fair comparison, as it were. Sort of. Okay, so everybody have a good one. A good week, that is. We will be back same time, same place next week. And all I can say is have fun, stay safe, and continue, please, to stay indoors as much as possible. Or at least don't go anywhere where you can anybody else can hear you breathe. Something like that. Okay, until then, folks, goodbye.